Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Thor, issue number 5. Hot damn. Okay, so this issue is called also, I'm sick, I'm not showing my face. Yeah, maybe we'll try again next week. The Devourer King, Part 5, Reign, this issue is called. Donnie Cates is the writer, Nick Klein on art, Matt Wilson doing the color art, VC's Joe Sabino on letters and design, Oliver Coipel and Laura Martin doing those gorgeous covers. There's a variant cover also, one by Isad Rivik and another one by Jeon Gwen Yoon. Never get that guy's name right, I don't think. Maybe I'm announcing it perfect. I don't know. Anyway, Thor was created by Stan Lee, his brother Larry Lieber, and Jack King, freaking Kirby baby. All right. So in this issue, this is one of those issues, man, where you look at some of the stuff and you're like, Donnie Cates doesn't know what he's doing. Damn, Donnie Cates is a genius. Donnie Cates has lost it. Damn, Donnie Cates keeps getting better. This is one of those situations, dude. Cates is so damn good at this, man. He'll write something and make you think this is booty. Please continue reading to the end until you can realize that, not the case. Not the case at all. Look, man, this cat, he's got Thor as, Galactus' next herald. And the whole time, just like, this is so booty. Oh my God, this guy has had more heralds than I've got hairs on my butt. There's an image for you. You can't see my face. Imagine that one. Put that one in, all right? You're welcome, my goofy looking face, next time I show it again. Anyway, like, this guy's got more heralds than anything. You remember when it was just the Silver Surfer? You remember that? And you remember when it was like a big deal because he took Frankie Ray as his herald, and you come to find out he's had a couple other heralds before, and then everything, let's just make everybody's herald. Let's make everybody's herald. Everybody's got to be his herald, man. Yeah, heralds for Galactus. Let's just make everybody a herald of Galactus and make them all more powerful. And yeah, and you know what would happen if DC comes over all of a sudden and be like, a Superman gets to be the herald of Galactus. Imagine Batman and like with the prep time plus the power of cosmic. Jesus Christ, shut up. Enough. I'm so sick and tired of the same stupid ideas. Actually, it's an amazing idea, but it's a stupid idea when you keep on using it. And I was so pissed. And I'm just like, Donnie, you suck. Stop. Just stop. Then I got to the end of the book. I'm like, God damn, this guy is a freaking god amongst the rest of us. We are ants looking up at this thing. And we're just like, dude, we are not worthy to be in the presence of what this man is doing to comic books right now. Holy crap. There are some people out there, not a whole lot, but there are enough where I know that there are some people out there and some YouTube channels and whatever, a whole bunch of those written review guys out there, the people of the past, that they like to point out all the things that are wrong in comic books. Can we focus on the things that are great in comics? Because, man, we all like to, look in the past and focus on like some of the greats in comic books back in the day, right? But, there were even more people who didn't get it right. There really are. And we don't focus on them. So why do we focus on what isn't great now? We could be focusing on Cates. We could be focusing on a lot of the other. I don't want to get into some names because then I'm going to be excluding some other names. This is a book about Cates, man. First off, let's just talk about this art. Damn, this was good. The only thing I would like to complain about is that Nick Klein's interpretation of Thor, I want to call him Thorio, which is half Thor, half Fabio. It's a little, I know it sounds like an Oreo. No, we're not going there. We're saying Thorio looks a little bit too much like Fabio, man. You know what I'm saying? So just, it is what it is. I'm calling it what it is. But everything else about this dude, the way that the art works, the way that the story is told through the art in and of itself. Here's the thing. It's Klein isn't making this, and I would like to see it this way, but he's not making the story so that you can understand what's going on or get a different interpretation, a better interpretation based on what we're seeing. With Kirby and with geez, Colin, with so many different amazing artists back in the day, you didn't need anybody writing. You really didn't. Oh, it helps. It's beautiful, but you could see a story being told. Look at the way that Leonard Kirk draws, and just think about it that way. Some people can draw in a way that the writing is there almost as, hey, well, that's nice. There's some writing too with this incredible story, And I would like to see Nick Klein expand himself in that way, because I think he's got all the tools, but he's too busy reading what other people want and not just putting his own personality into it. Maybe I'm completely off on that. I don't think so, though. I feel like he's got every single tool in the toolbox. Maybe he's just not ready yet. I don't know, man. But like the art in here, hard to argue about how good the art is. For what the story is, the dude is rising to the challenge and saying, oh, you need a story that's told like this? I'm happy to draw that for you. I want to see the dude do his own thing at some point. I want to see that kind of art that gets the writer to say, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't realize what I've got here. I think I could really utilize Nick Klein. Let me see what I can really pull out of this guy. That's the kind of stuff I want to see one of these. And I feel we're going to see that one of these days. Right now, we're not there yet. But the art is great. I'm liking what I see. Okay. On to the story itself. I'm going to get into a bit of a spoiler here because I got to talk about the end. But you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on that. And instead I'm going to talk about something else that Cates does that I think is impressive. I have seen so many times where people get it wrong. Where people talk about how, the text box should really just be the thought bubbles for the characters. The text box should just be the thought bubble, basically, for the main character, for the protagonist. And I've seen where that works so many times, it's incalculable. I can't argue against that being a good idea. And I don't see any thought bubbles in here. There are no thought bubbles in here. There are no thoughts. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. It's hard to really put a pin on it. But that stuff worked back in the day, and I think that it could still work today. I don't like the idea of when they used to write in the second person, you are the master of the martial arts. You are Shang-Chi. You walk down the street innocently when ninjas leap at you. It's like, dude, what are you narrating? Stop it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Shang-Chi. I'm reading Shang-Chi. I want to read Shang-Chi. Don't try and make me Shang-Chi, all right? And we're not seeing that here. Instead, what we're seeing is the text is not the thoughts of Thor. Thor, for what we could tell, doesn't have thoughts. And I think that that's fine because it's Thor. Thor's a thinker, but Thor's a guy who thinks out loud. So his text are his thoughts. Thor's not the guy who's going to stop and think about something before he says it. He's going to say the first thing that comes to his mind. He's pretty much that jerk, saying that loud-mouthed, heavy-set woman who gets in the camera and it's like, that's right, I'm honest about everything I say. You never have to worry about where you stand with me. You always know where you stand with me because nobody cares what you're thinking or what you're saying or where we stand with you. You're inconsequential. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? But with Thor is very similar, but in a not quite so brash a way. Thor is that guy who, when he's going to talk, you're probably going to listen. And you might get bored with it. You might be like, yeah, whatever. But you can also call down the thunder. So, you might want to at least act like you're paying attention, right? So Thor is probably the perfect character for Donnie to do this with. His thoughts can be out loud, but the text is not. The text boxes are not for his thoughts. The text is for the narration. The text is for what's going on, for the reaction to the stimuli, to give us a better understanding of what we're seeing with the art. I dig that. I dig on that. And I'm wondering if the next story that Cates does, not involving Thor, somebody like, what if Donnie Cates were to write a Captain America? I have no idea how that would go. None. I can't even fathom how that would go. But if he were to write somebody who is thoughtful, I wonder if he would bring back the thought bubbles. Because I would like to see them brought back. But I'd like to see them brought back in a modern way. Right? I read this comic book, and that's the main thing I could think about all throughout the entirety of the comic book because of the way that this comic book was presented. It's the perfect foil for setting up bringing back thought bubbles and showing that they could actually work. Maybe you're completely against thought bubbles. Whatever, man. Whatever. We're just going to have to disagree on that. We're going to have to agree to disagree on that and walk away as an adult. But I think that Cates could do it. And I would love to see that. And I myself have often thought about doing just exactly such a thing. But I'm not actually in writing comic books, so I'm going to have to leave it to Cates. I think it's in good hands. So now I'm going to get into the spoilers. You didn't read this comic book. I don't know why you were here in the first place. But whatever. I already told you the comic book was good, and then I told you about, who wrote this comic book. That was your clue to leave. That was your clue to leave and go read the comic book. But in case you stayed and you didn't read the comic book, I'm telling you, go away now, because the end of this is well worth it. The story is written in such a way that I got so annoyed that as I'm looking at all this cool stuff with the text box and everything, I'm getting annoyed by the idea that we keep going back to the same idea that, Galactus has another new herald. Who cares? Who cares at this point? We come to find out that the Black Winter, whatever it was, whatever it wasn't, whatever it tells the truth about, whatever it's lying about, apparently the Black Winter was from the previous universe, and Galactus was its herald. Are you kidding me right now? When somebody, in this case it's Cates, whenever somebody comes along and writes something that the rest of us say, how come nobody's ever done that before? That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of storytelling that I read and I'm just entranced by. Never seen anybody else do that kind of a story before. All right? There's been a suggestion, there's been this, there's been that, there's been whatever. And look, for me, this is a big deal. Because I'm the guy who doesn't want the cosmos explained. I'm tired of seeing Galactus get his ass beat. You know what I'm saying? I loves me some Rob. I love comics explained. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the king of the freaking comic book reviews. He does it so well that nobody even realizes he's actually just giving you a bunch of lousy comic book reviews. You know what I'm saying? I tell you that I'm doing reviews. I put it in my titles. He doesn't. And he doesn't really do comic reviews. That's all he does is comic book reviews. Shut up. But that being said, it gets annoying when Rob constantly talks about, Galactus is so powerful, he's a cosmic concept, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, the power that Galactus has. And then I turn around and I see a writer completely belie all of that. And he just starts, Galactus is showing up, he's so powerful, but he just got his ass beat. I'm tired of seeing Galactus get his ass beat. And I thought that's what I was going to see in this. And maybe I will. Maybe I still will see that. But I'm really tired of seeing Galactus getting his ass beat because he shouldn't. If he really is as powerful as all of us have read him to be, at some point we're going to look at it as, he's basically the Juggernaut. Super duper powerful, can't be beat, always gets his ass beat. You know what I'm saying? Sabretooth, the super duper powerful guy who always goes up against Wolverine and blah, blah, blah. It's just bringing down it's like if the greatest challenge Wolverine's ever had. Dude, Wolverine's a chump. Wolverine's the biggest punk there is because he can't beat Sabretooth. Meanwhile, everybody else beats Sabretooth. Let's be realistic. That's what this is. You can't have Sabretooth be a main adversary for Wolverine anymore. Because if everybody else punks out Sabretooth, but Wolverine can't punk out Sabretooth, well then Wolverine's a punk. That's all you've done to the character. Same thing with Taskmaster, same thing with Doomsday, same thing with so many of these comic book bad guys. You can't tell me they're powerful. You can't tell me there's somebody who should be respected and feared, because they're always getting punked. And Galactus has become one of those. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing that. This story, we're kind of seeing a little bit of that too. But we find out why. Because if this was the herald If Galactus was the herald of this being, this entity. But we've always wondered why Galactus is the sole owner of the power cosmic. And if we all sit here and we're just like, yeah, the Silver Surfer is badass because he's got the power cosmic. And it's only a fraction of what Galactus has. Well, riddle me this, Batman. What kind of a fraction does Galactus have compared to the Black Winter? Yeah. And Thor's the perfect guy to be going after Black Winter. Because Thor's that kind of guy who's always going to think, I can just hit it with my hammer and it'll go away. Every problem that there is, that's how it'll go away. And one of the best things about Thor, one of the best Thor stories you're ever going to tell is where Thor learns something and becomes better for it. And then we get an amazing Nick Klein picture of Thor looking off in the distance, thinking, and the ravens, what should be ravens, but they're not ravens apparently, sitting on his shoulder as we fade off and wait for the next issue, the next arc, the next story. That, I'm already seeing that by what I'm reading here. That's a good thing. I'm out, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.